Hi, my name is Samantha Woods.
Talk real close to the microphone.
My name is Samantha Woods. I don't have a seat. Hold on just a little bit so I can get one. It's all being recorded.
Very close. Like swallowing.
Okay. All right, well, thank you for attending tonight's public information hearing meeting. I'm Samantha Woods, and I'm the director for the North and South Rivers Watershed Association, and I was part of a stormwater working group that helped develop this bylaw that we're going to have Melissa Rakos from Beta talking to us about and providing information to the public about what this bylaw entails and what its goals are in terms of protecting our town's waters. So with that, Melissa, why don't you come up and I'll trade.
All right. Good evening. Thank you, Sam, for the introduction. My name is Melissa Rakos. I work with Beta Group. We're an engineering consultant, and we've been working with the Highway Department for the past few years on the stormwater program and the MS4 permit. MS4 stands for Municipal Storm Sewer System. That's basically the town's drainage system, which is regulated by EPA. So I'm here tonight. I'm part of a working group that's been working on this bylaw since before July of this year. The working group has been made up of a representative from Conservation, Board of Health, Planning, Highway Department, member of the Board of Selectmen, and we have a couple members that are residents and a local builder who's all, put a lot of time, energy, and thought to get us to this point. So tonight I'm going to go through the why, the what, the how, the who of this bylaw. Okay. So the problem is that when it rains, stormwater falls on the ground, and when it hits the surface and does not infiltrate, anything else runs off. So anything that hits a paved surface turns into stormwater runoff. It collects pollutants, which can be pet waste, litter, fertilizer, anything that's on the ground becomes a pollutant suspended in the stormwater, and it carries it into the storm drain. Once it's in the storm drain, it is fast-tracked to our waterways. So basically anything that can wash away from the yards and streets gets into the town system and makes it into our waterways.
Can we ask questions at any time?
If you don't mind, I think I'll get through the presentation because some of your questions might be answered as I go. And then I will take as many questions as we have at the end. So the reality of the issue here is that stormwater runoff is the #1 polluter of our waterways. The direct discharge of pollutants to the waterways happens during every single rain event. The existing regulations here in Norwell do not meet the current EPA requirements for illicit discharges and connections. And in Norwell, the waterways here are impaired for bacteria, which is directly related to illicit discharges and connections. Also, connections and discharges to the town's roads and drainage system are a big problem as identified by the Highway Department. All the pollutants that make it into the drainage system through the catch basins, once they are in the drainage system, it becomes the town's problem. The impairments, that bacteria impairment, is something that the town is responsible for anything that gets through the system to the waterway. Also, these connections are a maintenance burden for the town because they're required to keep the town's drainage system clean, keep these pollutants out. In addition, water that's discharged onto our public roadways becomes a hazard. It can create icing conditions in the winter, and it also creates flooding conditions on the roadways. As we have more impervious areas, we have more intense rainfalls now, there's more water in the system. The drainage system was not designed for all those flows that were contributing to it now. So the town of Norwell specifically has impairments in its waterways for bacteria. The North River, Second Herring Brook, Third Herring Brook, Longwater Brook, and the entire South Coastal watershed is impaired for bacteria. Also of note in Norwell, First Herring Brook, Acord Pond, and some other tributaries do discharge to drinking water supplies. So why do we need this bylaw? We need it because the existing water quality is impaired and existing discharges to town roadways are a hazard. So we need to do more than simply keeping it from getting worse. We need to be proactive. Also, pollution prevention is easier and more economical than treatment. It's a lot easier to keep pollutants from getting into the water at their source than it is to clean them from the water once they're in there. Also, compliance with the EPA Clean Water Act is not optional. So once it gets into the water and into the town's drainage system, the town needs to deal with those pollutants per the Clean Water Act. So what will this bylaw do? It will control runoff from existing development and new construction of single-family properties through basic control measures. It will recharge groundwater to prevent runoff, reduce runoff, and to recharge groundwater aquifers for our water supply. It will also distribute the effort among those contributing to the stormwater system. If we don't distribute that effort, then it all falls on town resources. So the Norwell Stormwater Management Bylaw is made up of 3 articles. The first article is general provisions. Article 2 is to prohibit illicit discharges to the MS4, which is the town's drainage system and waterways. Illicit discharge means that no person shall dump, discharge, spill, cause, or allow any pollutant or non-stormwater discharge to get into the town's drainage system or a water course or a waterway of Norwell. It also says that no person shall connect a pipe to the municipal storm drain system or any other way perform a modification to the town's drainage system without an approved drainage connection permit from the highway department. It also says that no person shall allow a pipe, swale, or other point source to discharge onto a public way. This is in reference to the town code. Article 3 covers land disturbance review, and there's 2 levels of review. The first is administrative review. So the administrative review threshold has 2 parts. Any land disturbance activity between 500 and 2,500 square feet, 25,000 square feet, and that's tributary to a street or a drainage system requires administrative review, or any increase or change to impervious surface between 500 and 5,000 square feet. So administrative review consists of a submission of an application, 1-page application, a sketch plan, and a small fee. And what's expected is that basic controls are implemented for the project. Those include that the driveway is graded not to drain to the street, that any new roof new roof area recharges into the ground, and that simple erosion control measures are taken. Review is done by town staff. It's expected to take approximately 1 week for the review, and you would obtain a condensed approval with some conditions. The second level of review is the land disturbance permit. So the threshold for a land disturbance permit is greater than or equal to 25,000 square feet of cumulative disturbance on a site, increase or change in more than 5,000 square feet of impervious area on a lot. Any land use of higher potential pollutant loads, we call these LUPLs. These are things like gas stations or salvage yards that are prone to have more pollutants that are exposed to stormwater on them, or any new or redevelopment of retail, commercial, or industrial use. So the land disturbance permit consists of submission of an application, a stormwater plan, existing erosion control plan, an operation and maintenance plan, and supporting calculations. It's expected that controls are implemented to manage stormwater runoff on the site and to meet the state stormwater management standards. These are all things that are required now by the planning board and other review boards in town. So this is not a change from what is currently done for larger projects. This would be a public hearing process, and it would be done through conservation, and you would obtain approval with conditions if it's designed appropriately. So now I'm just going to go through some examples of how this bylaw might impact people in different situations. So first example here is for an average single family home. What the working group did was looked at some recent submittals on some large single-family home development projects, and they took the land disturbance numbers from those projects to see what the sizes were of the houses and disturbance as far as driveway, front yards, land clearing. And the average house was about 15,500 square feet in total disturbance area. So according to this, a single family home would fall under 25,000 square feet of disturbance, and it would be less than 5,000 square feet of impervious area that's being made up of the house and the driveway. So in this case, you would be required to do an administrative review. The second example here, I have 3 scenarios. One would be clear cutting on a lot of trees where the surface slope and direction of the flow from the property is toward the town roadway. A new single family home house addition or a new garage, or reconstruction of a driveway. These 3 things, if they were between 500 square feet and 5,000 square feet, for the addition and the driveway, or between 500 and 25,000 square feet for the land clearing, would require just an administrative review. Some examples of things that would be excluded from this bylaw would be adding a second story over an existing garage because you're not changing the amount of impervious area on the site. So this would be excluded. You would not have to file for any review. A new patio or a walkway of any material that's less than 500 square feet of disturbance would not require any type of review. A new 1-car garage or shed, approximately 384 square feet would be a typical size, would be less than the 500 square feet of disturbance. It would not require review under the stormwater bylaw. The stormwater bylaw includes some exemptions as well. So maintenance of existing structures and impervious area, landscaping or lawn associated with a single-family home does not require any review. Conversion of lawns to vegetated landscape or construction of utilities other than drainage that do not alter the drainage patterns would not require review under the bylaw. Normal maintenance and improvement of land and agricultural uses would be an exemption, as well as if you have disturbance or development that requires permits or approvals from other boards, such as conservation, order of conditions, site plan review, planning board, as long as you were demonstrating compliance with the town stormwater management regulations through those processes, you would not have to do an additional permitting process through the stormwater bylaw.